Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing tonight in Florida, Disney World, as the Knicks take their 16th win of the season. A much needed win after the loss in the NBA Cup. The Knicks had a few days off and we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the post-game live with CT. As the Knicks win 191. They stood on business today, man. Lots to talk about. Cat, a 2020 game, his first as a New York Knick. Congratulations. Mikal Bridges had a solid game, his 500th game in his NBA career, consecutive as well. But tonight, it was the captain, Jaylen Brunson, man, planting his flag there against the Orlando Magic, and the Knicks move up to the 3rd seed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's break this thing down. Salute to the chat. Salute replay squad. This one was gritty. And defensively, the Knicks stepped up, man, answered the call, the physicality in this one. It was a chippy start to the game. It was back and forth. There was a run in that 3rd quarter from the Magic, but the Knicks stood firm and they answered the call with the physicality as well, man. The refs continue to let the game play out, but to the detriment of a lot of the physicality, right, and the fouls not being called on these players that need to be. And there was a little scuffle, little skirmish earlier between Cameron Payne and Wendell Carter. But like I said, yeah, Orlando wanted to come back in this one and make a statement. They are shorthanded, we know, obviously, but Paolo Banchero being out or not, Jalen Suggs really wanted to play for pride tonight, but the Knicks were just too strong. Right, that was the story. The 3-point shooting continues to be solid from the Knicks. When we win these games, we shoot generally above 40%, and that was no different tonight, man. As we look at the numbers, we give out the game ball tonight. We've got Shez V in the building already, buzzer beater. Hit him up. And Troy's in the building as well. Salute, guys. Salute, replay squad. Smash that like button. The Knicks move to 16-10, and we're going to talk about the NBA later in the show. We'll talk about the trade season kicking off as well as giving out these grades to every single New York Knick tonight. We got solid minutes from the bench, not a whole lot of offensive productivity, but there was a lot of activeness, I thought, from Precious Achiuwa, Miles McBride, and Cameron Payne, as Tibbs continues with his 8-man rotation. Let us know your thoughts on that. I'm going to talk about that tonight as well. We're going to preserve these guys and their legs for the run home in this season, for the stretch as well, right? Yes, it's important to pick up wins as we continue on this run, but keeping guys fresh is very, very important as well, in my opinion, as we don't play again until Thursday night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that is going to be a huge game in that one. But fortunately, the New York Knicks will have more days to rest and practice, right? As this NBA Cup continues, we know the final is going to be between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Oklahoma City Thunder as well, two deserving teams. It was great to see Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks flame out in that one. The Vegas lights were too bright for Trae Young, right? But the Knicks, man, what stands out to me, the activity defensively, guys. Salute Jarvis in the building. I like the 11 blocks to 3 blocks. I mean, the Knicks haven't been a good blocking team basically for a year now, and especially with Mitchell Robinson out. So that really stands out to me. The Knicks getting 11 blocks. Obviously, the turnovers, having 12 turnovers at the half was not good, but we only finished with 15. So we came correct in the second half and taking care of that rock, fam, despite the physicality as well. We'll talk about these referees, but yeah, for the Knicks to shoot pretty, our offense continues to be on a tear. The league's best offense, 41% from deep as well. Guys were in their rhythm, and the captain led the way in this one, fam. And he is going to get the first grade of the evening and the game ball, another game ball from Jaylen Brunson. Salute to the cap as well for his performance. A+ game ball. And as mentioned on the call, guys, he ties Walt Clyde Frazier, the legend, with his 61st 30-point game as a New York Knick already, and only his 3rd season as a New York Knick. So he's tied Walt Clyde Frazier with Jaylen Brunson's 61st 30-point piece tonight on the Orlando Magic's head. Right, what do you guys think about that? Salute buzzer. Knicks win, get the win. and we basically move ahead of Orlando in the standings right now, third seed, and obviously we have the tiebreaker on them as well, which is really, really important. We've lost the tiebreaker against Atlanta for the most part, and then we win the tiebreaker basically so far against the Orlando Magic. That could be big, fam. Let us know how you saw this win. Troy, Knicks win, but you're not as impressed, right? They did what they were supposed to do. That's fair. No doubt the Knicks were heavy favourites and we needed to stand on business. But yeah, I think comfortable win, 9 points. I wasn't really worried at any point in the game. I mean, it's not like the Magic took the lead and we really were floundering. I think we withstood a couple of runs like you do, and we moved on with it, fam. But obviously a little bit of rustiness because we haven't played in 3-4 days. I didn't think we were going to play our best basketball tonight. I thought just get the win and get out of there. And then obviously we get back to practice now and we face a big team, a big test against former Knicks, Randall, DiVincenzo, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're a team really underachieving as well, so we can pile on the pain for them. But got to give a big shout out to Josh Hart, honorable mention, 4 steals, as you guys see in the captions. He just does everything that you need, man. He's just a winner. 5 assists, 4 steals, 12 points, +9, 1 of 3 from distance, 5 of 9 from the field as well. Quiet night from OG Anunoby. Didn't get many shots though up. Got 9 shots, the same as Hart. But Bridges, Mikal Bridges, one of his more solid games as a New York Knick on both sides tonight, I thought, from Midi Bridges. 40 minutes, so Tibbs ain't going light on the man in his 500th game consecutively. But obviously Bridges was impactful tonight, guys. You love to see it. 17 points as well. He was efficient, and you love to see that, fam. What's good, David? Ches V, great to see you. Salute to the chat. Jarvis, great to see you too. Hope everyone's doing well, man. Festive blessings to everyone out here. We've got the Christmas Day game coming up, obviously against the Spurs. We've got 4 more games until then. Let's put together a run, man. Miguel, great to see you. Better defense tonight, holding Magic under 100 as well. Analog man, agree as well. The defense really was the catalyst in this one. 100 points from the Knicks, not a huge amount, but yeah, we held our own defensively, man. Although Mo Wagner was definitely pesky tonight. Buzzer Beater with a super chat. Appreciate you for the contribution. Great to see you as well. This tiebreaker, it's big time. Obviously I think, like the call said, Han and Peter on the call with MSG tonight, they said basically that we'll see the Orlando Magic again this season, and I think in the postseason at some point with these matchups. So that's going to be really big. Pacome Dadier is in the G League at the moment. That's why you don't see him on the box score. DNP, obviously, but he played pretty solid today with the Westchester Knicks. They're on a 2-game winning streak as well. I think they're on a 4-game winning streak, and Dadier's played the last 2. And so, yeah, he's put in some good reps, but I think obviously he'll get called back up as well, back and forth with the G League getting solid reps as well, but no Kolek and no other guys tonight. 8-man rotation, man. We're going to give Tibbs his grade tonight as well, right? But the captain gets his grade. What did I like tonight about the captain before we talk about Cat's 2020 piece? The captain was under control, but the 3-point ball, I think he was feeling the rhythm early and he wasn't hesitating. I think the offense was moving faster tonight. What did you guys think? I think against the physical team like Orlando, basically, like they said, you've got to get early transition buckets and not let them get their half-court defense set up. And Brunson was just really under control. He was taking a lot of contact, and man, is he getting frustrated. I'm frustrated at times as well with these officials right now. It's basically FIBA ball on steroids, what they're allowing. Street ball, no blood, no foul right now. And they basically switched it up real quick, did the NBA. So yeah, it's crazy at the moment. Old head, let's get it. Shez V said, why the Knicks still only with a 12-man roster? We've got more than that, fam. We've got 14s on the roster right now, but a couple guys in the G League. And then I think come February, the Knicks can add a 15th guy once the prorated salary falls below the apron. So we will probably get the 15th guy in February, but Landry Shamet can come back on the roster if we move Matt Ryan to a two-way, which I think they'll probably do once Landry Shamet is fully healthy once again. And I don't think he's far away. We're getting some great updates that Landry Shamet is taking contact now. So I don't think it's going to be too far until he gets back, right? But yeah, Brunson, aside from the 31 points, 5 assists, was efficient 4 of 8. I think that tells the story, man, from distance. 8 attempts, 50%. He was killing him, man. Especially that play where he basically put the hezzy dribble and the guy blew by him and he just pulled up for the 3-man money from the captain tonight. And obviously getting to the free throw line, 11 of 14 from Jaylen Brunson. He was in aggression mode, basically making up for the disappointing performance against the Atlanta Hawks. Well, this is giving JB the A. I like that. AP says, does anyone know what channel the Westchester Knicks actually come on? Yeah, they're on MSG, fam. If you do get MSG, you'll see the Westchester Knicks on MSG, the home of the New York Knicks. I'm not sure what else you can see. I do think it's also on the G League website. I think they do screen games for free on the G League website as well, so check that out. BFit says the offense comes easy when we play defense. Yeah, great point, man, 100%. I'm going to pull up the fast break buckets, as the Knicks got 10 tonight, but we also got 12 second chance points as well, so good work on the glass, especially with Cat, and of course Precious Achiuwa and everyone battling on the glass, helping us get 12 second chance points on that one. So now we pivot. Let's give out a grade for Karl Anthony Towns, man, because the first 2020 game in a minute, his first as a New York Knick. Huge performance from Cat in 42 minutes, battling Mo Wagner, and the physicality, man. Old school battle between those two, man. And he gave him the business tonight. 7 of 15, 1 of 3 from distance. All 7 free throws were money. 18 defensive rebounds, 4 offensive, 22 total, and 22 points. So a 22 and 22 piece, right, with Fries. And Cat was buzzing tonight, man, +9 in the box score. I love to see the way he was scoring. He wasn't falling in love with the 3 ball, was Cat, but this one was pretty, man. He just answered the call. I think Mo Wagner drained a 3 right before this one, and the ball just came down the other end, and Cat was like, get me the rock, man. It's raining threes in Florida tonight, and Mo Wagner was like, I can't do nothing about that. That was infinite range, that they say. Kolek was in the G League the other game, but he was, I think, with the big club tonight, but he didn't get any minutes tonight. But yeah, Rucker Park rules, Shez V. And look, I think there's good and bad to that. Obviously, these guys got to learn to play through contact. I know some of us don't like complaining about the officials, and I think you got to analyze what you see, and there's a lot of physicality in these ball games, but it will have us ready for the postseason, right? Because they're going to call a different whistle, right? And basically they're just bringing that forward early, right? And our guys are learning to play through it. What I'm more worried about is not the officials, guys. It's the minutes. It's the minutes total and tally on our guys, right? Cat with 42 tonight. Bridges with 40. Brunson with 37, right? Once again, I'll repeat, my Christmas gift wouldn't be a watch, wouldn't be money, it wouldn't be clothes. It would be to get that 9th man in the rotation. Please, Tibbs, get a 9th guy in there, because Precious can give OG a bit of a spell with Cat, and Miles and Cam can give the guards a spell, but we don't have a backup wing at the moment on the rotation, and you got to get Pacome Dadier out there. Whether it be Matt Ryan or Landry Shamet gets back soon, you got to get someone out there, man. Jake Toppin, Kevin McCullough. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kevin McCullough right now. Can we get an update? I saw him in the G League footage in street clothes still. So Kevin McCullough isn't quite healthy yet either. But whether it be a trade, we got to get a backup wing for Bridges and OG, just so they ain't playing so much, right? But for Cat's 22-22, man, I can only give him one grade after that. What do you guys think? Let me know. Karl Anthony Towns is going to get the second A+ of the evening. I really liked his performance. I think defensively he was pretty active as well. Got a block, and I think the Knicks 11 blocks as a team, and Karl Anthony Towns, was more active defensively. Though he's got to clean up some of those turnovers. 6 turnovers today, but finished the +9 in the box score as well. Doing exactly what you need. Take advantage of that mismatch down low. They've got Bitaze, the shot blocker, and they've got Mo Wagner. But Cat was still heavy in the paint as well, with only 3 deep balls attempts in this one. Old Head likes Cat's performance. A+ for the double-double. Salute. Let's get it. Yeah, J.I. says looks like a nice win, but same old Tibbs with the rotations. I really do think he's waiting for Landry Shamet to get back into the roster, and I think he'll definitely come into the rotation. But until then, there's definitely no excuses. I mean, you've got to get another body out there. Whether you even play Deuce more minutes, and that can help ease some of the burden on Hart and obviously Bridges and OG. But we're going to talk about Mikal Bridges right now. Next up, and give out his grade. Just a reminder, man, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we're bringing you heavy content all season long. And definitely, man, this season is going to be a big one as we enter the home stretch, right? We're in the second quarter of the season, 16-10. And I think trade season could be active, man. There was an early trade. And we'll talk about that later tonight, fam. But Mikal Bridges tonight, guys. 500th NBA game consecutively, fam. What a performance, basically, in his 500th game. It was solid, and I like what he did, right? I like what he did. And there's a statistic, basically, Bridges is now the 6th player in NBA history and first player since Terry Tyler, 78-85, to play in their first 500 games without ever missing a game. So, got to give him his flowers for that, man. I mean, yes, it's been a bit of a tumultuous start to the start of his Knicks career. Some ups and downs, some turbulence. But Mikal Bridges' 500th game, man, we got the dub for him tonight. So salute for the team, for the squad, and for his achievement. Sixth player in NBA history. I mean, there's a lot of players come and go. And so that's a significant achievement. And hopefully he gets going with some consistent play, right, for us. And for tonight, what did you guys see from Mikal Bridges? He was 7-11, man. They left him wide open. 40 minutes, 17 buckets, and 2 of 2 from the free throw. And just 2 fouls, a block and a steal, 1 assist and 1 rebound, +2 in the box score. So Mikal Bridges, 40 minutes, but activity-wise, he was more active, right? He was more active defensively, fighting over the screens. He was using his length and his wingspan to be a deterrent as well. So I think, obviously, Orlando don't have the level of drive game and creators that can really give us problems as some of the other opponents and Bridges. But, we were better tonight defensively. So those guys deserve a salute. And definitely it had a nice finish on this one. And he let the rookie Anthony Black out there know that he's been in the weight room, as he said. Give and go, nice pass from OG on this one, guys. So Mikal Bridges, 17 points on efficiency and better defense tonight, guys. Can we get a thumbs up for that? Old Head, yeah, Cat's playing on an MVP level. And look, when Brunson's going and he's going, we're going to be tough to stop, right? Forget all the doom and gloomers and all the stuff that's been floating around right? When these guys are going in the postseason, we're going to be tough to stop, right? Obviously, our defense has ways to go, and I think we're going to continue to get better on that end and build chemistry. Remember, you want to be peaking towards closer to the playoffs, and I think we're building a solid foundation. We are ahead of last year's schedule, and I think that's the telling, statistic of where we're at right now. Yeah, things haven't looked pretty at times. We're beating on teams we need to beat, and we're ahead of last year's schedule, right? With some potential upgrades on its way, fam. Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, some internal improvement, maybe a minor trade. We'll see what happens, but there's basically a ceiling where we haven't reached that anywhere near that yet, and so we're building on it. And tonight was a big win against an Eastern rival, and we are moving in the right direction. It is a situation where we're third seed now. I think that's significant. We've overtaken Orlando, and we haven't played our best basketball. I think that's quite telling. So yeah, for Bridges, his performance, look, I would have liked him to get more steals and blocks, obviously, but it was a better performance defensively than what we've seen recently. Let's see how he goes against Minnesota, because that's going to be that assignment against Ant-Man, and I'm going to be watching that, man. That's my matchup to watch for the next game. What are you guys going to be watching the most for the next matchup against the T-Wolves? Bridges is going to get that assignment. But yeah, for tonight, he was solid, really solid. So I'm going to give Mikal a grade of an A- for the game. Let me know what you guys think. I love that finish in traffic as well. Showing a bit of emotion tonight, did Bridges as well. That's what I know Knicks Nation's been wanting to see from Mikal Bridges as well. Show that grit. Yes, the shots might not fall, and we can live with that as fans, but for Bridges, I think he's really understanding the fan base, and our expectations are a lot higher than Brooklyn, Phoenix, and all those other clubs that he's been with. I think for us, we want to see the activity defensively. We want to see, emotion. We want to see fire and desire. He is that one half of the wing stop. Next up, yeah, you guys continue to give us your buzz, salute, chat. I see you. B Fit says, we still need to acquire a low budget enforcer. Someone who can send out there to pick up dice. I hear what you mean, man. I was thinking the other day, Mook Morris still ain't on a roster yet. Look out for Leon, man. I think he's going to pull a rabbit out the hat at some point as well. Like AP says, everyone smash that like button. Great to have you with us. It was a rough couple of days with no Knicks ball. We're going to last a couple more days, but the players will get a little break until Thursday, and a big time game against the Timberwolves in that one, fam. We're going to look at the NBA standings in a minute. Neymar, what's good? Says, Knicks, let's go. They won, made my day when the Giants lost. I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain as well. But yeah, nothing like a Knicks win to bounce back, right? Obviously, I'm still upset about the Hawks game. It's a game the Knicks really had in their hands, in their grasp, but you got to use that to fuel your fire. And I think the Knicks, obviously tonight, they showed emotion amongst everything else. The grittiness and the fight tonight was what you want to see from these guys. Look, as a whole, guys, I think we know by now this team has a different identity. We're going to win most of our games offensively. We're not that, defensive, gritty team that we were last season for a number of reasons. Obviously, we've got different players, but we lost a couple of those gritty, defensive type centers and big men, and Dante DiVincenzo as well. So I think offensively, we have a much higher ceiling. Obviously, the numbers tell that. We are the best offense in the NBA. I think we just got to ride that wave. Obviously, we've got to pick up our defense, hopefully get it to top 15, top 10. But our identity is just different. And for anyone expecting this team to still look like last year's team, I think as the season progresses, the identity of this team just needs to be embraced, because it's just a different identity now. And in the postseason, It's going to be very interesting, man. But the 3-point shooting is legit, right? And salute to Hart. We're going to talk about Josh right now because one of the reasons our offense is good is because he helps move the ball, but he's also draining those threes, which is incredible, right? They're leaving him wide open on the scouting report, but he's knocking down those threes as well. Now, Hart was 5 of 9, 12 points. I love the 5 assists, like I said, but the 4 steals and the 1 block, that's 5 stocks from Jay Hart tonight. And that's like a defensive player of the year type performance, man. 5 stocks from one of our guards and our wings. We need that effort, man. We really, really need the production that Hart is giving us. So for that, man, I'm going to give him the grade right now of an A. Stand up. Josh Hart, you get an A today, man. Solid all-round game, stuffing the stat sheet like usual, but showing that, that aptitude to fight for the loose balls like he does, get under the skin of the other team's players as well. And they had a fight tonight, did Orlando, with Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, those guys, man. They felt our presence on this one. Yeah, Troy, Bridges played with more energy tonight, and he definitely tried harder to get over those screens. Yeah, definitely. I see the points you've been making about the defensive side of things and switching and fighting over picks as well, like Buzzer Beater was writing as well during the game as well. Appreciate the knowledge that you guys bring, man. The Knicks fan base, the most knowledgeable in the business. And yeah, we know what we see, and we know when we need to see more. And if we can bottle tonight's effort defensively and just bring that every single night, I don't think people have much to complain about. I think in terms of just effort and grittiness, the Hawks game, I mean, we let go of the rope, and that was unacceptable. Shots can fall some nights, sometimes they don't fall, but the effort has to stay the same, and they stood on business tonight. What's up, Peter Green? Yeah, we could talk about some guys available, but yeah, you would like the Knicks to get Nick Richards at the top of your list. I do think there's some really enticing names out there. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about that in a minute. OG Anunoby next up tonight. OG's game, man. Yeah, he's making waves all over social media right now for that play where he got the steal and he was basically, he was basically on the ground, skirmishing for the ball. 3 of 9, 7 points tonight, 5 rebounds, gave us a steal and an assist, plus 14 though, team high in 36 minutes. So that's basically an OG Anunoby night, man. Not very productive offensively, but defensively was after it, man, and a team best, plus 14 in his minutes. I don't think, OG was involved in much action tonight, but obviously when, Cat and Brunson have it going, that's to be expected. Not everyone can get all the shots, right? But OG was really, really active and solid defensively. So I'm going to dial up OG's grade tonight. Plus 14 team high. He gets an A- as well. So that completes the starting 5, ladies and gentlemen, as the Knicks pick up their 16th win. We're ahead of last season's schedule in terms of plus 50 win pace as well, right? We've got some concerns with our depth right now. Let's talk about that with Tibbs. What did you guys see from Tibbs? I really like the timeouts that Tibbs called. I think he called timeouts at the right time. He didn't let, a poor run continue. And I think we basically we let it slip down to 6. I think Orlando pulled it within 6 in that third, and he called a timeout, and that was perfect. The Knicks came out after that and answered the call. So I think Tibbs pushed the right buttons with the timeouts, the challenge call as well, late. But obviously these rotations, man, and the minutes are really starting to, really concern me. And I think whether, something has to give way, whether or not he gets one of the rooks in whether it be Tyler Kolek or Dadier. I think that would be my preferred shout right now. Hukpority is day to day. I'd be happy if he's in the rotation as well, but that's not likely now with Precious Achiuwa healthy. But yeah, I think Tyler Kolek had a 30-piece in Westchester the other day with 10 assists and 6 rebounds. He's ready, man. I really liked his game with the G League the other day, and Tyler Kolek looks the most polished of all the rookies. I think he deserves some minutes. But I also like Pacome Dadier for stretches as well. I think his size, his length, and his ability to cut off ball and play well within the offense. I think he needs to be trusted for 5 to 10 minutes at least as well. Give these guys a bit of a spell. So yeah, that's my thoughts. So with that, Tibbs, we got the win. I'm going to give Tibbs a grade of a B because there's good and there's bad right now. And today he had the Knicks ready, called timeouts at the right time. There was no third quarter of doom. We answered the bell. We answered the call with their physicality, but I think the minutes are definitely going to start to be an issue as the season progresses, man. Yeah, it would make us a lot bigger if we did pick up, make some moves. Nicole, definitely. Minnesota's up next, Old Head, on Thursday. Yeah, big time game, right? I think that's going to be a big test for Mikal Bridges, right? If he can put in a stellar, vintage performance of his defense like he was in Phoenix, I think that's going to go a long way for us to see that, okay, that's the level that he can bring, right? He's been inconsistent, but if you can shut down Ant-Man and make life difficult, the Knicks have a great chance, I think, to pick up their 17th win next up against Mini. So yeah, let's give the grades and the flowers to the bench now. The 3 guys off our bench, Deuce, Precious Achiuwa, great to see him still out there and active since returning, and Cameron Payne as well. I really like the pace that Cameron Payne brought on offense. He was really pushing the break and helping the Knicks get in to some easy transition points like he does. But yeah, Deuce, let's start with him because the crowd, the MSG Light, was giving it, letting their love known for Deuce McBride, and it was great to see. Let me pull up the Deuce pull up 3 in transition. I mean, it's dynamite, right? I think Deuce is one of his biggest improvements offensively, man. It's not just the shooting, but the confidence, right? He really is playing like a player that he believes is an NBA starter, and that's what you need from a 6-man. Whether it be on any team, a 6-man believes that they deserve to be a starter on the team that they're on, and they play like that. No hesitation, green light. Take your shots when you're open, and take control basically. And look, Deuce McBride, obviously if Brunson misses any minutes, he's always there and ready to start. But him playing with that scorer's mindset coming off the bench is big because the Knicks don't have scoring off our bench. He is our scoring until Landry Shamet comes back. So yeah, Miles brought 7 points off the bench tonight. Didn't get a whole lot of shots, but 2 of 6 in 20 minutes. 2 rebounds and 2 fouls plus 6 in the box score and 1 assist from Deuce. Did miss a free throw, but finished 2 of 2 from distance, which is big, as the Knicks finished with 41% from deep, 10 of 24, which is big time against a team that couldn't buy a 3. So that was the big difference in this one, man. The Knicks have shooters, the Magic don't. And that's what we got to do, play to our strengths. So yeah, Deuce within the flow of the offense continues to be in rhythm. So with that said, I'm going to bring a B+ for the grade tonight for Deuce, right? Really solid game. Obviously, defensively continues to be solid, but the 3-point ball continues to be money as well. So that is big time for the Knicks offense. How did you guys see Deuce's game? What's up, Susan? Good to see you. I think the Cavs have had an easy part of the schedule. Definitely Orlando have as well recently. And I think the Knicks have had a easier schedule according to the analytics, but I don't think the analytics tells the full story. The Knicks had a pretty tough start to the year, facing Boston, Miami, Cleveland, and Indiana. And then we had a big 5-game West Coast trip, 5-game road trip in November as well, right after that. And so the Knicks weathered that storm. We should have picked up at least 3 more wins, possibly 5 to 6 as well, with the Utah one, the Atlanta one, the Chicago one, the Detroit Pistons one. I mean, the Knicks should really be something like 20 and we should be something like 20 and 6, which would be 14 games over 500. Just that 4-game swing right there is critical. But we continue to grow as a team. We're far from the finished product, as well as we're going to get some bodies back too. It's trade season now. We see the Golden State Warriors change things up a bit, getting in Dennis Schroeder, man. It looks like Brooklyn is in the midst of a fire sale, man. Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith are going to get traded up next as well. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, fam. Great to see you, James, in the building. Let's talk about Precious Achiuwa, because how have you seen his return? Right, I think it's been 4 games now, and the Knicks are 3-1. 3-1, I think, since Precious has returned. And by the way, the New York Knicks are now 36-13 with OG Anunoby in the lineup, and the Knicks refuse to lose their second back-to-back game with OG in the lineup. They've only lost one back-to-back or 2 consecutive games since OG became a Knick, and tonight's win avoided the second time that happened. So OG now 36-13 as a New York Knick, which is just incredible, right? So he remains a big X factor for us. But Precious Achiuwa getting back, man. I love the rebounding. Tonight he got to the free throw line a little bit. It would be nice if he could give us some more scoring in 17 minutes. But he pulled down 5 rebounds, and it just being active down low. He's given up some size to Bataze tonight, and Mo Wagner, and Wendell Carter. But having that extra big out there that Tibbs trusts now. I know Huck Porty, it's tough for him right now. I'd love to see him get a chance, but I think with Precious back now, he's going to have to get some minutes in the G League to stay ready and stay active. Jericho Sims has lost his spot in the rotation now, but obviously, Precious Achiuwa brings more on both sides of the floor as well. So, great to have him back, and that, basically the intimidation, the activity that he brings, doesn't go unnoticed. So let's dial up the grade for Precious tonight, fam. Right, it was nothing outstanding, but it was a workman type performance. I'm going to give Precious Achiuwa a B for his game tonight, man. Salute. And the 5 rebounds and getting to the free throw line as well is important for this ball club to get some easy buckets. Yeah, OG was all over the place tonight, fam. Yes, he had the open 3, David. Precious, he got the kick out, and good to see him get a 3-point attempt in the corner, but it didn't go down, unfortunately. But I know he's been working on that 3-point shot. If that's something that, he could average maybe, 2 to 3 attempts a game and knock down one of them, I think that's going to, give us, some versatility as a stretch 5. But I do need to note that OG Anunoby was in a little foul trouble early. He picked up his second foul, and then Tibbs went to the Achiuwa Cat lineup, a duo lineup, early in the first quarter, fam. So that was the first real meaningful minute of that situation with Achiuwa and Cat together for that size. It wasn't for a long time, but it did help us combat the length and the size of Orlando as well to stay active on the glass. So that was key as well. I hope we see more of that. I hope we see more of the the dual big lineups, and I know we probably will when Mitchell Robinson gets back as well. We'll see a lot more of that too. Now Cameron Payne tonight, guys, very interesting. 9 minutes, 10 minutes basically. Only had one shot attempt, but kept the ball moving really well. 2 assists, but his tempo was the big standout for me with Cameron Payne. Right, he was really moving the basketball up the court quickly and helping us get into our sets. Right, so that's what we need. That's what I've been preaching. Right, so I like that. I'm not worried about Cameron Payne only having one attempt if he's moving the ball quicker, right? Because obviously most of the starters were playing heavy minutes tonight. So I'm going to give Cam a B- for tonight. So I think one of the reasons I'm higher on the bench tonight is because we did really well with the non-Brunson minutes as well. I made notes, especially the second quarter, as the Knicks went into the half, 51-41. It was a chippy second quarter, and we didn't lose our edge. We were still ahead, and we did really well in the non-Brunson minutes. Despite 12 turnovers at the half, we did maintain a good closeout to the second quarter, one of the best closeouts to the half, basically going on a big 15-5 run to end the second. And that gave Brunson a little bit of rest, right, as we didn't lose the lead, which is key. But yeah, I would like Tyler Kolek to get some minutes, guys. Once again, if you missed his performance with the G League the other night, man, Tyler Kolek put up 30, 10, and 6 in the G League, man. It was just a complete performance, and he just looked, a level above the G League, and obviously he's a rook, and he's, Tibbs is going to be that way, given these guys sporadic minutes. But if he does get minutes, man, I think he'll take that opportunity, man. Tyler Kolek looked really polished in the G League, man, and he's just getting better and better and better. Yeah, the 3-point ball, Susan, is big time. We've got to hit those open shots. But tonight, 10 of 24, that was the game breaker right there for us. So yeah, we're going to look at the standings in a minute. Salute Johnny, great to see you. In the chat buzzing with us right now. Smash that like button. Let's look around the league now. Let's talk about some potential moves on the horizon. And obviously, it starts with Landry Shamet. I do think the writing is on the wall that he's going to get back with the club. And I know he's kind of, in a silhouette on the graphic, but I think he's going to come back real soon. I do think the Knicks strategically, drafted him with the G League draft to get him in the building so that he could rehabilitate and the Knicks could supervise his rehabilitation. That tells me that the Knicks are going to bring him back, right? Why would they even bother doing that? To get him back in the building to rehabilitate. And so I think now that he's practicing and he's taking contact, we've got a couple of weeks left until the new year. Based on what I've seen and what I heard, I would take the calculated guess as to say that Landry Shamet will be on the Knicks by January, at some point January, early January, late December. I think the move is to obviously move Matt Ryan back to a two-way spot, and that frees up that roster spot for Landry Shamet, I think, to come back. Right now, Matt Ryan's not getting any minutes. I think so it makes sense to me. How do you guys feel about that? And obviously, we're going to talk about some potential trade targets as well, but that's a move that we can make right now. We don't have to make any trade. I think Landry Shamet is an NBA rotation player. He's active defensively. We saw that in the preseason. He's 6'5", 6'4". He's not the longest defender, but he gives good effort. I think at times he gave better effort than Mikal Bridges, what I saw in the preseason. So I think you get him back. Hopefully he can boost your bench scoring, right? And look, Matt Ryan ain't even playing, and so I think he's just keeping the seat warm, fam. And then the next thing is we obviously got a major update on Mitchell Robinson, and that is from Shams, and that says that Mitchell Robinson is not going to return most likely until later in January at the earliest as well. So that's a long way to wait. I'm not going to lie. I would prefer the Knicks to, to look at big man help if they can. If there's a move that makes sense, Walker Kessler, obviously at the very top. Jonas Valanciunas is a name to look out for because he's only making $9 million. And obviously Nick Richards is making less than that as well. Remember, the Knicks need to send out more money than they take back as well. So if we are going to get Jonas Valanciunas 9 to 10 mil, we are going to have to send out multiple salary, more salary than that. That's a name to look out for. I do think Washington is going to trade him. Nick Richards is a it's an interesting one for me because I don't think he's a needle mover. I think if you were to be patient with Huck Porty and give him some more minutes and see if he can come, consistent, I think that's something that I would look at. To get Nick Richards, you're obviously going to have to give away a salary to send that out, and you're obviously going to have to probably give up a couple of second-round picks or maybe a second-round pick. I think that's something that doesn't really move the needle for me. It would be Walker Kessler. It'd be like a Jonas Valanciunas. It'd be a starting quality player, I think, if you are making a big man move. But obviously the common play is to just let it play out, let Mitch get back. And obviously we see what happens in January. The trade deadline won't have happened yet. And you can obviously see what Mitch looks like, when he returns in January, hopefully right now. As for the guards, man, there's going to be a lot of players available in wings. Dorian Finney-Smith is a name out there to look out for. I don't think Marcus Smart is going to get traded, however, because the Memphis Grizzlies are doing pretty well. Johnny says there's no minutes for a fresh blood in Tibbs' universe right now. I do think there'll be a ninth guy. I don't think he can run 8 all season long, man. I think he just needs to get that ninth guy in there that he trusts, and I think that's going to be Landry. Yeah, Buzzer Beater says you've been screaming for Jonas for a month now. Let's see, man. Let's see what happens. What's up, Sandman? Okay win. Mikal Bridges on D. Yet finally very good today. In fact, he was fantastic, you said. Can he please play like tonight consistently? Yeah, I think obviously they answered the call from that letdown in Atlanta, but I feel you. This is the kind of effort where fans can be like, yeah, we get this level. Obviously giving up 5 firsts was still an overpay, but if Mikal Bridges, I look at it like this: if he can be part of the solution and not part of the problem, then that trade can still work out for the New York Knicks, right? Just be part of the solution, help the Knicks win, right? He may never live up to the 5 first round picks and play like an all-star or an all-NBA kind of player, right? We get that. But just be part of the solution. Help the Knicks win ball games, right? Play to a solid level, defend that we need. And I think, the chips will fall in the right direction, man. The Pelicans is a tricky situation for them, man. Herb Jones, I think we need to kick the tires on that for sure. I think they are going to ask for a couple of our rookies, I think, to make a deal like that work, because we can't really part with many first-round picks right now. We can give them a pick swap. Stanley says Dorian Finney-Smith would be great, a great pickup. But what could the Knicks offer the Nets? Daddy A ? It would have to be some of our rookies and the salaries, I think. But obviously, a salary like a Precious Achiuwa would probably be needed as well. I'm not parting with Deuce McBride, definitely not. I think you keep Deuce out of any trade talks at all costs, in my opinion. Now, I'm just going to pull up the standings now. Let's take a look at tonight's movement as we continue buzzing. I'll just refresh that right now as the Knicks move up to 16-10, an outright 3rd seed, and with a higher win percentage than Orlando, and the tiebreaker to go with that, and 1. Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Smash that like button. Now the Knicks are obviously 7-3 in that last 10. So look, you're as good as your last 10 games. Let's take a look at that first, man. Cleveland 7-3, the same record as the Knicks. The Celtics 8-2. The Magic, to their credit, they're significantly short-handed, and they're treading water right now. The Miami Heat are starting to put together a run. They're 7-3 in the last 10. So is the Milwaukee Bucks 8-2. The Atlanta Hawks 7-3. And then obviously the Pacers 5-5, and the Bulls 5-5. So that's where there's a real drop off, fam. So I think competition for these 3 to 7 spots are going to be significant, man. 3 to 6 is giving a ton of jockeying as the season goes, man. But one thing about the Heat to look out for is that they're going to trade Jimmy Butler most likely, and that's going to be a drop off, man. So that's going to open up that 5th spot for either the Bucks, the Hawks. I mean, the Pacers are suspect right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not surprised the Pacers are dropped off, because I just think last year they caught lightning in a bottle, man. I just think it is what it is, I don't think they can replicate last year's success. I think there's so much predicated on Tyrese Halliburton playing like an all-NBA player. For the Knicks, it's different, man. Like, we've seen Jaylen Brunson have a stinker and the Knicks still pull out a much-needed win. We've got options. Cat can go off. Hart can give you 20 points. Bridges OG, Deuce McBride. The Knicks can win against anyone if Brunson has a bad game. But can the Indiana Pacers, can the Miami Heat pull out tough wins without those guys, without Butler and Halliburton? I doubt it. So I think there's a level to where we're at, fam, in the East right now. And the Knicks have planted their flag right now in the 3rd seed. Are we going to catch Boston? Are we going to catch Cleveland? Look, it's a long shot. It's a long shot. They've got a good head start. Obviously, an injury can derail things, but I like if we slot in there in the 3rd seed come the end of the season. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad, fam. Obviously, we finished 2nd last season with 50 wins. We finished with the 2nd seed, but the 3rd seed we would still avoid the number 1 seed in the first 2 rounds. Salute Tony from Denver. Great to see you. What's up, Paula, as well. We're all buzzing. Susan says Mitch will be coming back after the All-Star break, and then will be coming off the bench for Cat. I think all things are on the table with Mitchell Robinson pertaining to him, fam. Why do I say that? It's because it's all to do with his conditioning. How does he cope with practice? How does he cope with the added, the return and all of those things, integrating? Yeah, I think that's quite plausible that Mitch comes off the bench to start. I think Cat's proven at the very base level that he can, hold us down at the 5. And I think our defense is obviously not where it needs to be as a whole for the season. But I think it's unfair to put all of that on Cat. I think out of all the problems the Knicks have had defensively, it starts at the perimeter. And I think, and then it trickles down to fall onto Cat at the rim. But if we can get better on the perimeter with Bridges, Brunson, and Hart, and OG obviously, I think that's going to help our defense get to that next level. But yeah, Precious Achiuwa returning is helping a bit. I think we'll wait a few more games and then we'll look at the sample. I think, but defensively tonight to hold Orlando to 91 was a big step in the direction, man. Benedict Mathurin Sandman, I like that name. I think the Pacers will be looking to tweak things a little bit. He looks like the odd man out in Indiana as well. I won't be surprised if they trade Obi as well. What do you guys think about a potential return for Obi? Would you guys be down for that? Ed Diaz, what's the word on Mitch coming back? Yeah, so the word is mid-January, late January at the earliest. So right now, I think right now I'm leaning towards you wait for Mitch's return. You obviously see what trades are out there. I don't think Jonas Valanciunas is going to be on the trade block for very long. I think there's going to be a lot of teams coming in. So he might be off the board by December. I think you might have to look at a Walker Kessler, which is obviously going to be a steeper asking price, but a lower salary. If it's Danny Ainge, he's definitely going to ask for Deuce. He's definitely going to ask for, you know, some of the Knicks rookies in that deal. It's tough. I wouldn't want to give up any of that without seeing Mitchell Robinson return first. So that's where it's tricky for me, fam. Look, if they believe Nick Richards can do a job and just be a solid a bench big, a backup, and come in if Cat is struggling and just provide an extra big in a big man lineup against, say, Cleveland, against some of these bigger teams, right? I know it wouldn't take much to get Nick Richards. The Knicks have second round picks they can give up. They could throw a salary in there. But I mean, with Sims, Hukpority, Precious Achiuwa healthy, and Mitch, potentially coming back fully healthy as well in January, I would sit tight with the bigs right now. Now, playmaking, scoring at the wing spot, I think, that could be different. Dorian Finney-Smith would really help this ball club as that seventh, eighth man. Landry Shamet, we could get another look at him, but I think Dorian Finney-Smith would provide that grittiness and toughness that that ability to fill in for our wing stop would be really helpful. Yeah, and the Bucks are coming good, Susan. I think they're starting to pick up their level of play. They're playing some younger kids that are helping themselves out, but obviously Giannis is really stepping it up. Yeah, I don't think Obi's going to come back, Sandman, because of Tibbs and that situation. Look, yeah, teams to look out for is obviously Portland for me because they've got so many bigs. They've got Klingon, they've got DeAndre Ayton, they've got Robert Williams, Time Lord, and they've got Duop Reith as well. Houston's a team to look out for as well. They might even be in the Julius Randle sweepstakes if Minnesota want to make a move. But obviously they're a star away from contending. And they've got some bigs that they're not playing much as well. Jeff Green, Jock Landale. They're two centers that aren't getting many minutes because of Steven Adams and Alfred Sengun. So Portland's a team to look out for. The Houston Rockets is a team to look out for as well. I think they're going to make moves. And then obviously out east, right, there's going to be the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to be trading Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. They might even be trading Cam Thomas, who I wouldn't mind trying to get in on, but I think that's going to be a steep price. What else? I do think out east, Indiana, definitely going to make a trade. Benedict Mathurin, I think he could be surplus. They definitely be looking at the Obies, that salary. Miles Turner could be on the block. They did bring in Thomas Bryant, so they've made a trade already, I think, to try to, get some momentum. And then, yeah, you guys mentioned Levine, I think, in the chat. Chicago, fam. Chicago could be a seller, and the Pistons could be a buyer. And then we have the 76ers, fam, that are struggling right now. Let me try and bring this up on the bigger screen. But yeah, we've got the Sixers in 12th. They're at 7-16, right? They've lost Jared McCain now. A sinus fracture to Joel Embiid, man. He's going to be out for weeks, right? He's going to be out for weeks. Is Joel Embiid? They're 7-16. I think they might just do a tank job for this season, man. I'm not going to lie. I think the Sixers, it's a long road back for them, man. It's a long road back. So they're struggling, man. Paula says, good, let them struggle. Absolutely. What do you guys want to see this team address the most? Like, what do you think could help this team the most? Obviously, out east, Miami. Miami's going to make moves. Jimmy Butler. It's going to be a big trade. It might have to be a 3 or 4 way. this the aprons and the CBA is so difficult right now for all these teams to make major moves. I know it's not going to help us this season. I don't assume it's going to, but James Nagy, the Knicks have his rights, who's currently playing in Spain, and he's a 7'1" big man that the Knicks could still bring in next season, or his club could have a buyout, and we might want to bring him over sooner. And he's playing really well in Spain, man. So he is another young big that the Knicks could either bring over or they could throw him in a trade, and trade his rights. But yeah, he's an intriguing big man, kind of like Huck Porty, but he's slimmer, he's quicker, and he's more longer. He's kind of like a younger Mitch in terms of playing style, whereas Huck Porty's more of the bigger, post-up kind of big man. But yeah, it's interesting to see his development. I'm watching some of the highlights. He looks solid. The Knicks still have the rights for Rocas as well, which I think they'll probably dangle in any potential trades because it's not going to cost us anything in terms of current player on the squad, and that could entice some of the other guys out there, man. Yes, Utah was the guy I want to mention, man. The team I want to mention because they've got Colin Sexton, they've got Jordan Clarkson, some ball handlers, some scorers that the Knicks could potentially use off the bench. I know the Knicks have been interested in Colin Sexton for a little while. To me, I don't think he addresses, the major need, which is kind of wing defense right now, big or wing defense. I think are the two biggest areas of this team right now. But obviously things can change. You get Shamet back. Let's say he looks, productive, and then Mitch comes back, and then I think that helps address some of the need right now. But I do think Dadier and Kolek deserve, to get into the rotation. What do you guys think? Um, yeah, so yeah, I see you. The Nuggets are in trouble, man. They really are in free fall as well. Um, but yeah, we've got the Suns doing battle with the Blazers right now. Let me bring this up on the big screen. The Celtics lost Kristaps today to an injury, so we'll wait and see what happens with him. I don't think it was serious, but he couldn't finish the game out with Boston. Did KP? The Timberwolves picked up a win before our matchup coming up on Thursday. The Mavericks are ahead of the Warriors right now. They obviously just picked up Dennis Schroeder. I think that was a really solid pickup for them. And then the Lakers will play the Grizzlies, man. I think the Lakers are in free fall. They'll be looking to get Jonas Valanciunas as well. They've got Cam Reddish, who they're not playing much either. So, a lot of players are going to be out there, man. It's going to be a busy trade season, I'm predicting. I really am. Susan says Embiid got karma after the dirty play with Mitch. Yeah, I believe in karma. Yeah, I definitely believe in that. Sandman, another wing, bro. We need another wing. Either Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, DFS. I think you could throw in there. I know we're not going to get in the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes. It's just too difficult financially. I think if the Knicks had a bigger salary, you might start to hear some buzz with that. Because I do think Jimmy Butler does have New York on his radar, but I think it's Brooklyn. On that one. AP says, wish the Knicks could find a tough Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley type player. I got a name for you just on that. I don't think this is likely, but I do know of a guy called Montrezl Harrell, fam, and I know he plays with that certain edge like those guys. Montrezl Harrell is looking to get back into the league. He's playing in the NBL right now, where Huck Porty used to play last season. So I think there's a lot of teams monitoring Montrezl Harrell right now. He's only 31, former Sixth Man of the Year. I think he will get onto a playoff team, I think before the playoffs begin. What do I think will happen with Rocas? I think Rocas will end up being traded by the Knicks. I think we have a surplus, in that position, fam. With Kolek, we know how high the Knicks are on him. He's the future, and I really like what we've seen from Campaign for a minimum salary kind of guy. Obviously, Deuce McBride and Brunson. Um, Now Rokas is versatile. He can play the two. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's got pretty decent size. But yeah, everything seems to indicate with me, man, that the Knicks just aren't high on Rokas Jokubaitis. We're just not high on him as an organization, or we just don't feel like there's the minutes available right now, and we just keep sending him back to Europe. So I do think he's going to be dangled in one of these trades. I think it's going to be a decent kind of pickup for somebody, because I think he's an NBA kind of player. He's still young. Yeah, I think Philly as a whole, I think they tried to band-aid what they had. I think Paul George, I'm glad we stayed out of that, fam. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm glad that we stayed out of the Paul George thing, because to give him that kind of salary at that age, I think together with another injury-prone dude, I think we're seeing why it hasn't really worked out, fam. Now, before we wrap up, let's do some reactions from the locker room, fam. Let's hear what Tibbs had to say as the New York Knicks handled their business off a huge night from the captain, Mikal Bridges' 500th game, and of course, Cat 2020 game, 25 and 25 as well. Josh Hart did his thing as well with 5 stocks as well. The defense stood up tonight, fam. Wingstop was open. Jalen Suggs got tossed as well with his 6th foul. Well, Brunson frustrated him, which is good. We won it on the physical side tonight, man. So yeah, we're reacting to this one, the 16th win of the season. I mean, it's been ups and downs, but like I said, we're ahead of last year's schedule. And no doubt we've dropped a couple of winnable games, but it is a situation where, every season has a mind of its own. And I do think we're kind of at that point where we're starting to see more consistency in terms of the wins and losses, 7 and 3 over the last 10, right? If we continue that trend, I've got no doubt we're going to be over 50 wins, and hopefully we just get to the postseason healthy. I think that's the major thing for me right now. And Tibbs is kind of, he's bugging out at the moment with the minutes and the rotations. Now tonight, Tibbs said that he liked the game is becoming more physical, but he said he wants to see more consistency with how the game is called. Noted the smart physicality, the good body positioning, going strong to the basket should be welcomed as well. And Tibbs said he also loved how Brunson just kept going. Noted how some bumps early, but he just figured it out and made big plays. So Tibbs is liking this kind of physical game, but obviously he's been writing to the NBA about how the Knicks aren't getting the fair whistle and not the consistency that we need. Tibbs also said on Mikal Bridges' 500 games in a row consecutively, he said, in today's NBA, it's remarkable. So that's some reactions, man. I think, we get some good practice in. We have 3 days, no excuses, fam. We're going to be rested. We're going to be ready for war against Minnesota on Thursday night, fam. And that game is at home as well. So I like that. At home at Minnesota. We can get back to New York now. We can let this NBA Cup Finals play out on Tuesday night. We can sit back and watch that, and the Wednesday off as well, and back at it for a late tip on Thursday, fam. So yeah, we get it. Actually, no, that one might be a road game. Correct. I stand corrected. The Minnesota game is on the road in the orange. So yeah, that's going to be even more challenging. Yeah, with Tibbs, guys, I do appreciate some of the things he brings to this squad, which is basically, old school, habits in terms of working hard, consistency and all of that. But yeah, you got to be smart in today's game, man. It's a different kind of NBA now with, more games, back to backs and all of that, and obviously we're not the deepest roster, so you got to be smart with how these guys handle their minutes as well, um, especially with the usage that Brunson and Cat have on the offensive side. But yeah, I agree with you. Minnesota, we need that one, AP, and I think we'll get it. I think we'll get it, man. I think you'll see the New York Knicks click, and they'll be at their best for that Minnesota game where juices will be flowing, man. Cat's return to Minnesota is much-watched TV, must-see TV on Thursday night. We'll be live post-game, fam. We'll do a preview as well for that big matchup, fam. We'll do a preview show, and we'll do a trade deadline preview as well in the next episode together, fam, as we have a little bit of a break now. We can take stock and assess this season with 26 games in the books now, as the Knicks are third outright in the East. The Cap standing up to an All-NBA MVP mode, as well as Karl Anthony Towns, fam. Let's get it on the next one. Everyone, peace.